All right, today let's talk about the cold and why it matters, why it's important. We got a cool sunset. Wanna spotlight real quick, but see the snow on the ground? That's from the cold. So yeah, let's talk about it. So let's see, I got my notes here on my phone, but a little bit about the cold. You know, like I live in Michigan personally, so we're at the Midwest, but it's really the north during the winter, if we're being honest. It's right next to Canada. And you know, it snows, the weather goes crazy. Today it's 40, so it's actually pretty warm, believe it or not, but it was just 4 degrees the other day, so you can really see that contrast. Less than a week, 40-degree difference. But yeah, when you in the cold, right, you're really that's all you're thinking about is the cold. You're not worrying about your school grades, you're not worrying about a test you have tomorrow, you're not worried about did you eat dinner. You're worried about surviving in that cold. So the cold is almost like a challenger. It's the most immediate challenger. It like sends you back to your roots, right? Meaning it makes you think about what really matters at that moment, which is surviving the cold. Like almost makes us like primordial again. It's kind of interesting. Looking back at my notes here, it's like conquering an enemy, right? So when you're in the cold, this is how I like to think about it. I'm in the cold, I'm here to like embrace the cold, I'm here to like get over it, I'm here to conquer it. I do struggle like everybody with some things with the cold. Like, of course, when I wake up, it's warm, I don't want to get out of bed. Like, it's cold outside, why would I want to get out, right? But once you do, and you start to view it as, okay, this is something I'm gonna get past, work towards, we're gonna like almost defeat this, I think that's really cool. And once you do it, you just start getting better at it, and you start getting better at it. If you can defeat the cold, think about this, if you can defeat the cold, what else can you defeat, right? If you can embrace the cold and get through the cold, you can get through so many other things. So you can kind of use the cold as a metaphor for like a level you need to progress to. So if you can beat this level, you can move on to the next level. If you can beat level 1, you can beat level 2. So that's how thing goes. Kind of building up proof of concept for doing hard things, getting uncomfortable, doing things you don't want to do. Because if you do certain things you don't want to do, you'll be able to do other things you don't want to do. That's what I want to say there. So yeah, and like this happens every year too. It's not just like a once-in-a-lifetime thing with Michigan, since we have so many seasons, right? This happens every year, so it's kind of cool, like homeostasis. It kind of balances you out. I'm looking for the word. It's like a return to origin. The status quo, that's what it's called. To return to status quo. So if you can get through the cold, you kind of get to return to status quo with the seasons, and then you have a new challenge every year, so it keeps you going in that way. Yeah, it just reminds us about, like, for example, I don't know why, I was just feeling a little bit unmotivated today. You step outside and the breath of fresh air, and going back to it, the freezing cold, it kind of just gets me going. Like it does something to your brain. I'm gonna have to make another video about fitness and mindset relating to the cold, but it does something to you that just gets you going. Maybe it's the shock factor. It gets you some sort of energy that you didn't know you had. So that's another thing the cold does, at least what I've noticed from my experience. Yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know if you guys are into Vikings. I love Vikings, all that stuff, but Vikings, they live, breathe, that's where they lived, in the cold. So if you think about the type of warriors and their mentality, they're really just, they're out here, not gonna lie, they did a lot of questionable things, but because they're in that environment, they just got built tough pretty much. I played football. One thing it's constantly pushed on toughness. Being in the cold really emphasizes that, and kind of just builds into who you are. It's very big character development for who you are. So that's another thing, the cold. And then think about the cold as a final boss. Going through the summer, you got the fall a little bit, which is getting a little chilly, and then once you hit the winter, that's really the final boss. So after you defeat the final boss, you get to reap the rewards, and then it gets easier from there, meaning it warms up, and once it warms up, you start feeling better. I made it through the cold. Now it's the summertime, it's the spring, it's warm season. Let's get going, and hopefully keep that momentum, that discipline, that toughness, that mindset you built in the cold, and that will just keep you rolling throughout the rest of the year. So yeah, this is a little video on the cold. Hope you enjoyed the sunset. I think we got the moon here too. Got the moon. Don't know if you can see that, but yeah, a little bit on the cold. I recommend everybody, I don't know about taking cold showers. Cold showers, that's another cool thing too. But I'd say ease into those, or don't ease into those. You know, take the challenge, take the plummet, take the risk. But yeah, the cold, that's where it's at least for right now. So we're out here. Go outside, go get cold, do something you don't want to do, get uncomfortable. I promise you may hate it now, but you'll be so grateful for it later. So yeah, peace out.